Many decades later, we are not the only creatures in this universe. Far away from the Earth, there is a star war among the planets. Most planets are ambitious to dominate the universe. They destroy, deforest, and expand their territory everywhere. Meanwhile, on the Neptune planet, a group of aliens believe there must be a way to reunify the galaxy. Minity, a brilliant resident of Neptune, has a responsibility to make an alpha jump to the Earth, and here, they must find out 5 lost pieces of diamond in Sweden and Japan. And finally, they gonna be the message for the whole universe after all. Now, Minity, make an alpha jump to become an Earthling and do your duty. In the first space dimension, you become a Swedish husband, living in Japan with a Japanese wife.
Honey, next month is Nikki's Summer Crying Baby Festival. I'm waiting for a baby to join it.
Can you tell me about it?
Well, this is an annual event in the country. Most Japanese babies take part in this festival. Each summer will hold a baby, and then 2 babies compete. Who cries first will be the winner.
Are you kidding? I don't care whether all the Japanese will engage it. This is clearly fighting, and they are just little children. Why are we happy when our babies are crying?
No, honey. When he cries, a loud and forceful cry produces a healthy, strong upbringing for the infant.
I will never take my baby to come to that festival. It clearly protects children's rights.
It's not really serious. I will show you this clip.
Welcome to Naki Sumo, the Japanese baby crying festival. This event takes place each year and is celebrated across the country. It's intended to protect the babies from evil spirits. These parents hope that their baby's howling has scared away even the toughest demon.
You see, it's not really serious as what you think. The babies just touch each other. There's no real fighting between 2 babies. Also, it's very typical for a newborn to cry, especially when he's held in the arms of a strange person.
Okay, so if we try to let our baby take part in the festival this year, I hope our little boy to try the multicultural lifestyle. Certainly, I may consider about these activities after that.
You are so cute, honey.
So we can realize that the reasons for this unavoidable problem is the differences in individualistic culture between Japan and Sweden. According to a theory, it's in Japan that they usually put the harmony of groups above the expressions of individual opinions. However, with a score of 71 in individualist, Sweden is a loosely knit social framework in which individuals are expected to take care of themselves and their immediate families only. That's also the reasons why the husband does not follow the Japanese traditions and disagree with his wife. So to sum up, individualistic culture is partial difference between any countries. And to give an agreement, it's essential for the insiders to sit down and consider which action should be taken into a particular situation. Besides, the modern people nowadays are advised to be collectivistic so that they can easily integrate into the new world. However, it's also vital for the collectivistic people to have the mutual respect of individual lifestyle of the others.
I bet you've learned something about individualism, so this is the very first piece of diamond for you. Let's jump to the order.
In the second space dimension, you're a Japanese girl who has to work in a team with Swedish and Vietnamese boy.
At the end of April 2021, when the COVID pandemic broke out, a group of students from Ho Chi Minh City of Education was working on a project to design an English self-studies website. The group includes 3 friends, Andrew from Japan, Lisa from Sweden, and Long from Vietnam. During the project, when members expressed their ideas, Andrews all the way underestimated others' opinion.
Hey Lisa, I think we should create our website based on the Google Site platform. It is super convenient.
Well, Google Site seems good overall, but for me, Wix is a better option. It has many templates and third-party apps which provide us a wide range of choice.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking, Lisa.
No, I still think Google Sites is better. Don't you think this normal template makes us confused?
I don't think so, Andrew. Google Site is so limited for us.
Anyways, our web should be based on Google Sites.
What? Are you serious? Why don't you listen to other opinions?
Andrew, I think you shouldn't do this to Lisa. She comes from Sweden. A country appreciates individuals' opinion and gender equality. So, in terms of group work, listening to others' opinions is a must for Sweden. Lisa, I totally feel you, but let me tell you this. In Vietnam and Japan, the man's role is highly appreciated because traced back to the past. King is the leader of a nation and many crucial positions in politics are held by men. However, this idea is fading in my country, but Japan still. So I think this belief affects Andrew so much, and also explain why he didn't listen to us.
Lisa, I feel so sorry for everything I said. I'm totally wrong when I don't listen to your ideas.
Okay, Andrew, but I also have responsibility in this quarrel. I didn't put myself in your shoes and Long explained everything to me.
Yeah, problem solved. Now we could get back to work like a team.
Okay guys, let me explain the reason of this situation for you. The cause of this situation depends on whether people come from a masculine society or feminine society. A masculine society is a society in which social gender roles are distinct, while a feminine society is a society in which social gender roles overlap. As we can see from the Hofstad website, Japan scored 95 on this dimension, while Sweden is a pretty low score, only 5. So Japan is considered one of the most masculine societies in the world. Have you ever wondered why Japan is a masculine society? Originating from the history, Japan was a country that followed an absolute monarchy. Only men could be the king and held crucial position, while women can only take care of the housework and raise children. Let me take Ocean movie as an example here. Throughout the film, all we can see are the injustices and frustration that women have to endure. They almost have no right to give their opinion or make decisions, but they must obey the arrangement of men. So back to our story between Andrew and Lisa. How could we avoid this situation? In a new era, humans have to change. Instead of criticizing and evaluating the opinions of others in a one-sided way, we should listen and observe these opinions to become better. And no matter who you are, where you are from, or what you do, listening to and understanding others will contribute to your success.
You've successfully accomplished the masculinity challenge, Minity. You figure out the second piece, and now another space is awaiting you. In the third space dimension, you are a Swedish expert who is having a meeting with many experts in the world.
In 2009, during a meeting of the world experts on options to promote resource exploitation to boost the economy, there is an argument between Mr. Sweden and Miss Japan. More intensive exploitation should be made to overcome the global economic crisis because Sweden is already rich in natural resources. And if we invest in mining this source, it will bring many benefits to the country and the world.
It's too foolish to exploit our valuable resources that much. Instead, we should think about the future, the long-term national interest, and this action might affect the world seriously because the first thing is, natural resource is limited. The second thing is, the intensive exploitation might affect the global climate. And the next one is 10 years coming. It is likely that many countries will depend on Swedish gas in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, for example.
You overdid it.
If you don't believe her, let's jump to the future.
In the next 10 years, especially in 2022, there will be a war between Ukraine and Russia, which strongly affects the whole Europe country. For example,
providing 25% of Europe's oil, 46% of its coal, and 40% of its natural gas import. Aggressively turning off the flow of gas, Europe is dipping into its storage reserves at a time where it should be filling them in anticipation for the winter.
So many Europe countries cannot depend on the amount of gas from Russia. They need to find another gas supplier to make sure that they have enough gas to use. So now, which country is gonna be the goal? Your country, Sweden for sure.
I know what you mean. Over-extracting the natural gas just make my country worse in the future. Think for today, but live for tomorrow. I would take long-term measures into consideration for a better life, I'm sure. Hi everyone. Little did you know that Japan had reached 92 out of 100 in uncertainty avoidance. Meanwhile, Sweden were just 29 according to Hotstep website. So, what is uncertainty avoidance? In the easier way, it's talking about the culture of preparing everything for the future. Because some countries are threatened by the unknown situation, and whenever they do something, they always think about the risk or long-term benefits. So, to make it clearer, in Sweden, do you know that Sweden is the world's 16th wealthiest country? It has an extensive welfare for residents. In addition, there are significant quantities of natural resources extracted each year, around 250 million tons in 2017. Meanwhile, Japan has been suffered so much from a series of earthquakes and tsunamis. Therefore, every people in Japan is greatly serious about whatever they do. They do not only think for the present, but they broaden their vision to the future. They really want everything to be kept under their control. So that's the reason why Miss Japan criticized on what Mr. Sweden had thought. As Warren Buffett told, risk comes from not knowing what you are doing.
Uncertainty avoidance is a precious lesson for your Neptune planet. Well done, Minty. You've got the third one. Let's move on and confront a new challenge. In the fourth space dimension, your Japanese husband, who is always working and working.
His wife is the weirdest woman, who usually works during office hours, not overtime. She wants to spend more time enjoying married life. However, the husband's schedule is pretty tight. He usually registers to work overtime every night and weekend. That is normal for most of employees in his company, and people even assume this as their company culture.
Hey honey, we haven't had any new trips recently. I want to travel to Singapore next week. How do you think?
Oh, my schedule doesn't allow me to do that. I'm sorry. Staying there and enjoying your time are still good.
Oh, your life is just for working. You seem to be a person who doesn't have a wife to take care of.
Oh no, it's normal here. My friend's married life is also like yours now. Working is important to make our future more stable. If you don't work overtime like anyone else, I may be seen as a lazy person, not focusing on the group's work. And maybe I feel lost at the company.
No, it's boring life. We need to enjoy our life more, not just working. Just ignore what people think about us.
I'm tired. It's late. I need to sleep soon to be ready for work tomorrow.
Next day, the husband exhaustedly comes home after working at the company. He accidentally turns his eyes to the pictures taken 2 years ago when he and his wife traveled to Poland. In a moment, those memories come flooding back.
Hey sweetie, I'm sorry for everything. I think I've been destroying our married life. I'm sorry for spending so much time working and not paying attention to your feelings and letting you down. I'm a bad husband.
Okay, I think it's also partly my fault. And I didn't think much about your feelings when you were working. But anyway, your time is unbalanced and you should manage your time again to ensure the quality of life.
Sure, I will. How about a trip to Singapore next month?
Cool, love you.
Okay, as we all know that each marriage life has their own problem, and for the situation I've just showed you, the reason for the quarrel is the differences of Indonesian culture. According to the theories, Indonesian dimension is the extent of feeling of subjective happiness, how people control their desire and impulses based on the social norms. And for this dimension, there are two types of societies. The first one is Indonesian, and the second one is restrained society. So about indulgent society, it will allow people to fulfill their needs and enjoy life. And on the other hand, the restrained societies, it will prohibit the satisfaction of people based on the social norms. So based on the situation I've just shared, we definitely can figure out Japan has the culture of restraint. On the other hand, indulgent is the cultural feature of Sweden. Or we can see the differences more specifically based on the Hotstep website. And here, Japan is marked with 42 and Sweden is marked with 78.
Okay, let's talk more about the reason of the difference between Sweden and Japan in this dimension. Okay, for Japan, since ancient time, Japanese education has always emphasized collectivism. They assume that doing something following the majority is correct, and the minority is not. So those who separate from the crowd will be called Kuzumono and sound like a weirdo. Therefore, Japanese do not put much emphasis on leisure time, and the satisfaction of the needs and desires is not a priority. Of social norms and the feeling that indulging themselves in somewhat wrong completes the picture of Japanese culture. So how about Sweden? I will tell you one special feature of this country. Okay, Sweden is one of the prominent countries has a great social welfare for its citizens. It provides the most basic needs for all its citizens and show a significant commitment to social equality. Therefore, Swedes possess a positive attitude and have a tendency towards optimism. In addition, they prioritize leisure time and they act as they please and allow themselves to fully experience their emotion. Okay, in overall, both indulgent and restrained culture has their own benefits, so we shouldn't prioritize one of them, but take advantage of the good points and balance between them. As Maoist had a saying, positive thoughts generate positive feeling and will attract positive experiences. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough.
So, when it comes to indulgence, I guess you've noticed something. Now, the fourth piece is unraveled. Let's move on to the last one. In the last base dimension, you're a Swedish man who has already been an employee in a Japanese company.
John was born in Sweden. He has worked and lived in Sweden since he was a child. He began to relocate to Japan because his Japanese wife decided to live there. He was forced to leave his current position as his previous employer and apply for a position with a Japanese company. Everything appears to be running smoothly. However, something unexpected occurred when the company needed to meet to discuss some upcoming plans and projects. John is a hyperactive and energetic individual. When he walked into the meeting, he noticed that it was rather quiet and solemn. During the meeting, he appeared to hear only the leader's words and no comments from other employees present. He felt that there was some voice in the leader's plans that was still unclear, so he asked the Japanese leader for permission to express his thoughts. When John raised his hands, the Japanese leader was taken aback but agreed to let him ask. When the leader heard him speak his mind, he didn't pay much attention to the Swedish guy's sentence, but instead tried to explain it briefly before continuing to say his part. The Swedish employee was taken aback and felt his was not respected. Because in the previous environment, he and the leader, as well as other employees, always had a exchange when discussing something, and there would appear to be no gap between the superior and subordinates. After a few minutes of the meeting, the leader had a private talk to the Swedish employee. After that talk, John began to better understand how leaders lead. It turns out that before any meeting, the leader prepares everything carefully, so there is almost no error and the staff just listen and follow. Since then, John gradually got used to this difference from Japan compared to his own country. According to Hostin Insight, the power distance score in Japan is 54, while it is only 31 in Sweden. In this case, we can clearly see the difference in power distance between Sweden and Japan. While the power distance appears to be small and non-existent in Sweden, where everyone is equal and has their own voice, the opposite is true in Japan. This had to do with the Japanese tradition of the respecting seniors and juniors. When confronted with this situation, it is critical to understand the appropriate time and setting in which to express our opinions, because not all locations will have the same power distance and it takes many factors to form. All you need to do is learn how to learn and adapt to them in order to have the best experience in that country.
The power distance is the last challenge for you. Now, Minity, mission accomplished. You have all pieces of diamond, so let's turn back to Neptune. Many people are awaiting you there. These are the 5 pieces of diamond on the earth, sir. Now, we can unlock the universe message. Every country is the unique one. Sharing and respecting are the keys to a better life.